I mean, the number of groups in history that have broken away from everybody else to live the Bible literally the way they understood it. I mean, if you could stand back and just look at the historical reality of the different groups, they didn't agree with one another on what they believed was the literal interpretation of Scripture. They couldn't get along. Invariably, these groups have to always isolate themselves away from everybody else.
Yes, they get smaller and smaller as they define their position more and more narrowly based on the particular verses that they choose. And there's so many questions that are really not settled in Scripture. You know, should infants be baptized? Well, there's certainly clear indications that infants were baptized in the early church, but no absolute pronouncement. The church itself had to make that decision.
And, you know, what do you do with, you know, polygamy?
Right.
Because
there's no prohibition of it in Scripture.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. And so that's why you have a lot of these little groups are focusing, and then they decide for themselves, well, we don't do this anymore. Well, why do you decide you don't do that verse anymore when you're building your whole stack of cards on this other verse? I mean, that's why God gave us the church, guided by the Spirit.
Yes, we need an authoritative interpreter of Scripture. But the interesting thing is, I think people don't always realize that it's really relatively few scriptures where the church has made a definitive pronouncement, this is a wrong way to interpret it. The vast majority of scriptures the church leaves open because there's such a fullness there. The Scripture is inexhaustible. And, you know, I've heard people say, well, why can't the church just give us one definitive commentary in Scripture, and that would, you know, case closed. Because that would close up the wealth of riches that the Lord has given us here. The church is open to any interpretation that is in harmony with Catholic teaching, that doesn't conflict with the tradition of the church. And constantly to this day, those who study and pray the Word are coming up with new depths of insights. In fact, Vatican II said that very clearly, that the understanding of these realities revealed in Scripture is constantly growing.
We have a call from Debbie.